Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Ohio State Parks and Watercraft Virtual Open House. Let me start off by introducing myself. I am Brian Miller, and I am the Southwest Manager and provide oversight to 14 state parks in Southwest Ohio. Also joining me today to assist with the presentation and the questions and answers are Catherine Connor, who is a naturalist for us in the Southwest District. Also behind the scenes, we have Sean Connor, who is helping produce today's show. So I want to thank both of them up front. With that, if you have any questions for us during today's presentation, please post them in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer those questions at the end of today's presentation. These virtual open houses are a statewide effort for us to stay in communication with all of you during these crazy times that we're all experiencing. In the Southwest, we offer many state parks with many different amenities, but today we're going to showcase Ohio's largest inland lake, Grand Lake St. Mary's, near St. Mary's, Ohio. At this time, I'd like to introduce the park manager of Grand Lake St. Mary's, as well as the Miami Area Canal, who has been with the division for approximately 24 years, Dave Failer.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning. Good Friday morning to all. I and the staff would like to welcome you to Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park. Here's a slide of all the staff at Grand Lake St. Mary's. Let's first start with law enforcement. I have Travis Martin and his staff, Kim, Don, Chris, and Emily. Next is our financial associate supervisor, Kara Burt, and her staff, Vicky and Gidget, followed by the dredge supervisor, Dan Gillis, and his staff, Steve, Mike, Doug, Elmer, Doug, Roger, Zach. Finally, we have my staff, Mike Pukak, natural resource supervisor, Jason, Scott, Byron, Adam, and they're maintaining the Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park and the Miami Erie Canal. I'm Dave Failer, and I've worked for OhioDNR since 1995, hired by Chief Glenn Cobb as a natural resource aide. In 1998, I was hired full-time for the Division of Water and helped maintain the canal until 2009. In 2009, I was hired as a dredge operator when I worked until 2012, when I was hired by Brian Miller as an assistant manager. I worked as assistant manager for Brian Miller and George Schultes at Grand Lake State Park, Lake Laramie, Kaiser Lake, and Indian Lake until Brian promoted me to park manager of Grand Lake and the Miami Erie Canal. Welcome to Ohio's largest inland lake. At 13,500 acres, Grand Lake was built on the Continental Divide. The green stars are our dams. That is the West Bank and the West Bank Dam, and the water coming out of the spillway there flows to the Ohio River. And then the star on the east side, that's our East Bank Dam, and the water coming out of there goes to Lake Erie. The blue stars are our boat ramps. That is the Salina boat ramp at the Hot Water Hole. That is the West Bank boat ramp at the West Bank State Park. That is the It's boat ramp. That is the Windy Point boat ramp. That is the newest boat ramp, partnered with Wildlife, the Little Chickasaw boat ramp. That's East Bank Marina ramp. That is Fry's ramp. That is the Sailboat Club ramp. And finally, the Campground ramp. Next, the large yellow star is our campground. The small yellow stars are our 3 dog parks. We have a small dog park in our campground just for our campers. We have an East Bank dog park, small and large, and a West Bank dog park, small and large dogs. The white stars are our lighthouses. That lighthouse is located on 127 in Salina. This lighthouse is at Bim's Landing, right across from the Bim's restaurant, accessible only by water. and that is the Northmore Lighthouse next to the golf course. And finally, we have the Black Star in the middle, which is a replica of an oil derrick. Here's a snapshot of history for Grand Lake. The Ohio General Assembly first talked about the construction of the canal on the west side of Ohio that would connect Lake Erie with the Ohio River in 1817. This massive project would cover over 230 miles and would have 3 feeder lakes: Lewistown Reservoir, which most people know today as Indian Lake, Lake Lorme, and Grand Reservoir, which we all today know as Grand Lake. It wasn't until 1827 that the construction had begun. The land that Grand Lake is on today was originally part of the Great Black Swamp. The south side of the lake was covered in massive trees. Construction was performed by Irish and German immigrants. For their labor, they were given a shanty to live in, 30 cents a day, meal, and a chigger of whiskey to help fight malaria. Later, it was found out that the chigger of whiskey did not fight malaria, but when saved up, would cause for drunken Irish and German men to fight. Later, the workers would receive $26 a month, as well as meals and a place to live. And some of the workers would actually take payment of land. Working from sun up to sundown where the workers would be able to dig the lake and install 2 dams and a guard lock, which still stands in place at the East Bank today, would take just a little over 20 years to complete. Here's an example of the feat that was accomplished. There is an 84-foot elevation drop from Lake Lorme, which is the summit, to Grand Lake, and an additional 311 feet of drop from Grand Lake to Lake Erie. This is why it was so important for Grand Lake to be so large. Fun fact, when Grand Lake was built, it was over 16,000 acres of water. Grand Lake has some rich history. Many of us did not know that Grand Lake was the first for offshore oil drilling. Offshore oil drilling began in 1891, and there were over 150 oil derricks that dotted the lake and operated until at least 1915. Our friends groups, the Grand Lake Rec Club and the Lake Improvement Association, purchased a replica oil derrick in 2012 and has installed it every spring for our lake users. Grand Lake also had an amusement park called Gordon State Park and a dance hall on the northeast side of the lake that opened in 1925. The Gordon State Park had several attractions, including the Devil's Backbone and the Old Mill roller coasters. The dance hall was roughly 50 foot by 300 foot and was destroyed by a fire in 1931. That, and along with the Great Depression, caused the demise of the Gordon State Park. In 1949, Ohio created the Division of Parks and the Department of Administrative Services gave Grand Lake and all the surrounding state property to the Division of Parks, and Grand Lake St. Mary State Park was born and continues to grow more beautiful every year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave, for that great look at Grand Lake St. Mary's. We'd like to dive a little bit further and show our visitors some options for staying within Grand Lake. For that, we have our Financial Associate Supervisor, Kara.
Thanks, Catherine. A little information about the campground. There's a total of 198 sites at Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park. That consists of 10 non-electric sites, 154 electric sites, and 34 full hookup sites. The electric and full hookup offer 30, 40, and 50 amp service for your camping needs. The full hookups offer electric, water, and sewer at the site. There's 2 group camps that can be used for groups, such as Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and they can be reserved by calling the park office at 419-382-5500. 888-394-3611. If you don't have a camper and would like to stay, we do offer getaway rentals. A getaway rental, one type we have is the 2-seater cabins. They're probably the most popular as they offer the full kitchen and full bath. The cedar cabin is 12 by 32 foot and can sleep up to 6 people. Inside there's one bedroom with a double bed and closet, a full-size sleeper sofa, and a set of bunk beds. The inside amenities include air conditioning, heating, table and chairs, microwave, coffee pot, toaster, clock radio, and electric can opener. Outside amenities include a covered porch, 2 chairs, picnic table, gas grill, fire ring, and sits right along the lake. We have 3 large camper cabins, which are 13 by 15 wood structures with a covered porch and can sleep up to 5 people. Inside amenities include a refrigerator, microwave, table and chairs, air conditioning, heating, and electric. The outside amenities include a covered porch, 2 chairs, picnic table, gas grill, fire ring, and sits right along the lake. The last getaway rental we offer is a small camper cabin. We have 2 of those. They are 10 by 12 hard-sided A-frame structure that can sleep up to 4 people. Inside, you get a ceiling fan with light, electric, air conditioning, and 2 cots with foam pads. Outside amenities include the sheltered picnic table and a fire ring. These are located toward the back of the campground in the group camp area. Some of the additional activities that are offered at the campground include the pool, splash pad, hiking trails, gaga ball, basketball court, nature center, 2 playgrounds, a camp store, and a dog park. For campers that enjoy boating, we offer a launch ramp in the campground along with courtesy docks for campers only. The camp store is located at the front of the campground and has merchandise for sale for items that you may have forgotten. And for a small fee, we offer a putt-putt course and fun cycle bicycles. In the campground, there's 5 restrooms along with 2 shower houses. The shower houses offer restroom facilities and also laundry facilities. Campsites and getaway rentals are reservable and can be made by calling 1-866-644-6727 or online at ohiostateparks.com. These reservations can be made 6 months in advance. At Grand Lake, we also offer 4 shelter houses that are available by reservation. There are 3 along the east bank and 1 on the northeast shore, also known as the Villanova area. The 3 along the east bank offer a fireplace inside, along with picnic tables and sliding doors on the west side that can be closed in case of bad weather. The shelter houses can be reserved 1 year in advance, and they can be reserved for the day. Reservations can be made by calling 1-866-644-6727 or online at ohiostateparks.com. Thank you for your interest in Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park Campground and hope that we see you soon.
Thank you, Kara. And whether you are staying the night or just coming for the day, there are plenty of recreations to keep you busy here at Grand Lake St. Mary's. And for that, we've brought our Lieutenant Martin to talk about.
Hi, good morning from Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park. My name is Travis Martin. I am the law enforcement lieutenant of the area. That includes Grand Lake St. Mary's. Our officers are actually stationed at Buck Creek State Park, Lake Loramie State Park, and Grand Lake St. Mary's. In addition to the state park system, our officers also patrol the waterways, the rivers and streams around those areas, natural areas and preserves, and other areas in about 6 counties. I've been actually stationed up in this area since about 2006. I've been on the water and the land in that time around Grand Lake St. Mary's. Actually a beautiful area, so please come up and see it. But a little bit about our natural resource officers. They are peace officers and they enforce the laws of the state of Ohio and the state park rules and regulations. They also teach boating education programs and other programs to the general public. And we also provide search and rescue and assist other agencies on the water, on land at the request of those agencies. Our jurisdiction is actually encompassed in the state parks, nature preserves, forest areas, waterways, streams, lakes, and we do this obviously statewide, but here, as I talked, we have about a 6-county area that these officers oversee those opportunities to. We also patrol the overnight facilities. Kara did a great job speaking about the cabin and the campgrounds, as well as the waterways. In addition, we have some additional resources for the search and rescue program with the Salina PD, Montezuma Fire Department, and Salina Fire Department. They all have resources to assist in emergency opportunities on Grand Lake St. Mary's as well. Natural resource officers receive about 100 hours of training a year. A lot of that training is law enforcement, but we also train our officers in swiftwater rescue, boating operating skills, and other items such as that. So that's just kind of an overview of our law enforcement program in the area. But at Grand Lake St. Mary's, I'd like to talk about our trail system a little bit. Here at the campground, we have a trail called the Red Wing Trail. It's approximately a 1 mile loop. That's a trail it's going to be kind of not a paved trail, a little bit of different terrain, but you're going to have like a young growth forest. You're going to get to hear the birds and the insects. It's a peaceful trail to walk and escape on. But again, it's just a 1 mile loop. Where you see the pet there on the leash, that's going to be the East Bank Trail. That's a paved trail. That's a very popular trail over on the St. Mary's side of the lake, or the east side. You will commonly encounter people jogging, exercising, running, bicycling, and you can see the road nearby that kind of sits in between State Route 364 and the Park Road. But if you ever want to see a beautiful sunset, this is the area to go. A very friendly trail, very easy trail to walk. And again, it's less than 1.5 miles long, but a very enjoyable trail. And over on the west side of the lake, we have the West Bank Trail. Again, less than 1.5 miles long. And again, you're going to encounter the same thing with different scenery. In the background of that with the bicycle, I can see Safety Island and Windy Point. This is a very popular trail over on the eastern side of the lake, just south of Salina. Now, the East Bank Trail can actually connect you with a feeder trail, which will go into the Miami-Erie Canal Trail, which is more of a rugged off-terrain, but those are not state park trail systems. Also connects with the North Country Trail. So there's plenty of trail opportunities at Grand Lakes. If you get the opportunity, you're a hiker, come out, check them out, enjoy it. The other amenities that we offer here at Grand Lake are dog parks. Dave did a great job explaining where the dog parks were here at Grand Lake. Just remember the rules are posted at the dog parks on the fence. There is a section for large dog and a section for small dog. There is one on the east bank and there is one on the west bank. It sits right next to that trail system that I talked about. We also have another dog park, but that is actually for our guests and overnight reservations in our campground. We just want to remember dog parks and trail systems. We want to make sure that we're parking in a designated parking area. Let's don't park in the grass. Let's make sure any litter, trash, that we pick those up, take those home with us, or put them in a receptacle. Those are some common problems that we do see in our trail system and our dog parks. Otherwise, dogs, they must be leashed in all areas of the state park system other than the dog parks. So remember that. Keep your dogs on a leash, keep them safe. That keeps our other visitors safe, and we don't have any user conflict if we're doing that. We do have hunting and trapping opportunities at Grand Lake St. Mary's, and by far waterfowl is probably the most popular hunting opportunity at Grand Lake St. Mary's. It's not all we offer. You see the map up on the screen. That is the official state park hunting map. That map is analyzed every year by a group of individuals, myself included, the park manager. We even include the Division of Wildlife. And what we like to do is we like to keep these areas as safe as we can for the residents that live around the lake, also our guests. And we also want to provide that hunting and trapping opportunities as much as we can to the public. In this map, waterfowl, you see all the circles with the numbers. Last year, we had over 75 duck blinds, waterfowl blinds available to the public. That is a tremendous amount of blinds. Those were all completed through a lottery system. If you go to OhioDNR.gov, in about July, we will have different lotteries for these duck blind drawings. The winner's usually notified approximately a month later if they successfully drew a blind or not. But I do believe there's a $3 fee to attach along with that. So please check that out if you're interested in the waterfowl blind. We offer some small game hunting and some deer hunting. With the land portion of Grand Lake St. Mary's, there is not a lot of land outside of the lake, but there are a few opportunities. But the area is marked in green on the map. You can obviously go in there, do some archery hunting. There's an archery area only hunting over on the western or eastern side of the lake. You can check that out as well, and a few trapping opportunities. If you ever have any questions on the state park hunting map, please give us a call. We want to point you in the right direction, get you the correct information, and get you the opportunities you want. Just remember, all the guidelines are followed in the Division of Wildlife issued guidelines for the actual hunting year. So right now it will be the 2020-21 season, soon to change to the 2022 season. Other things we want to talk about at Grand Lake St. Mary's are boating opportunities. As you can see in the slides, we have jet skis, paddlecraft, canoes, kayaks, but by far you're going to see more pontoon boats and power boats on Grand Lake St. Mary's than anywhere else. 12,000 acres of open water and a few embayments and creeks that come in. Highly popular. We have swim zones, we have open zones, you can ski, you can tube. Just a tremendous amount of opportunity to come up here. You can run, there's restaurants available to go see. And all around the lake, the boat ramps. Dave told us about 9 boat ramps that were located around the lake. So just about from anywhere from the eastern side to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, you can find a boat ramp. By far, the 3 most popular boat ramps are going to be the East Bank, the West Bank, and Windy Point. That's where you're going to find the most traffic, although I rarely, unless there is actually a fishing tournament, see these ramps fully occupied. So it's pretty easy to find a slip. All these ramps are maintained very well. The dock space is there for you. A very friendly place to launch a boat at all of these. And I'm also told that we have some state docks available for the 2021 season. I don't know how many docks are available, but you can contact the Grand Lake St. Mary's State Park office. And if you're interested in an annual dock here, we can point you in the right direction and set you up with that. Now, other boating opportunities we have here at Grand Lake is safe boating. We can talk about a lot of things today. I see on the slides we have the wear it stamp, wear your life jacket, good call. Don't drink and boat. We can talk about Operation Dry Water, zero tolerance of alcohol in the water. But today I really want to talk about cold water boating. We had just transitioned into April. We had about 23 degrees this morning. Yesterday when I was here, it was windy. I did see a few boats on the lake. Traveling up the interstate, saw multiple boats. We've had people in the water throughout the state of Ohio. So cold water immersion is definitely something that I'm concerned about at this point in time in the year. We have paddlecraft on these slides, which are most likely the people that we encounter when we're doing these search and rescues in this cold water. Cold water will actually cool your body 25 times faster than what air will. So when we get to this weekend, when we get highs in the upper 60s and 70s and people are wearing t-shirts and sweatshirts, just remember that water is still below 50 degrees. And if you encounter the water, it's going to feel really, really cold and you're not going to be comfortable. So remember, when you're out, dress for the water temperature, not the air temperature. Layer your clothing, use some good synthetics or wool when you're out. Let somebody know where you're boating at, make a good float plan. And there's some other things you can do to keep yourself safe. Obviously, number 1, wear your life jacket, just like the wear it stamp says. Number 2, we talked about dressing for success. Layer, dress for the water temperature, not the air temperature. And also, contact your local natural resource officer to get a vessel safety inspection. Very, very important, something just a courtesy that we do to show the equipment that is required for that waterway on the water. Last slide I have for you today is just some common resources for you. Over on your left side of the screen, you see the officer conducting a vessel safety inspection. He's checking the number of life jackets, capacity plates, distress signals, sound signals, navigation lights, registrations. A thing that officers do over 100 times a year on multiple boats. Volunteer for one of these. These are great. You'll know exactly what you have to have and what you have to pick up at the state parks, lakes, rivers, and streams throughout Ohio. Some other resources that you see on here, the boating education card at the top of the screen. Anyone born on or after January 1st, 1982 has to complete a boating education course to operate anything over 10 horsepower on the waters of this state. So if you do complete that boating education course, which those courses can be found again at our website, OhioDNR.gov, once you successfully complete the course, This will be issued to you. You can carry it with you while you're out for proof that you've completed the course, or you can sign up for an online course too and do it from home. Remember to renew your registration. The boats in the pictures where you see the decal with the 21, that is an expired registration. If you get a registration today, you're going to see 24 on it. Those registrations are good for 3 years. And the paddle craft down at the bottom, those are alternative registrations where you just have to carry the one tag and not display it on both sides of the vessel. And to your left is actually your registration certificate to be carried on board the boat. The Ohio Boat Operators Guide. There is a wealth of information when you receive a new registration. This Boat Operators Guide will give you somewhat of the rules and regulations about navigation, the state park lakes, some other things in it, but it also provides you a list of safety equipment. That's really all I have for you today, but I want to wish everybody a safe 2021 boating season. Be safe out there, and please, if you have any questions, contact one of our state park officers. We'd love to get in touch with you, answer those questions, and if you do encounter emergency, you can dial pound ODNR from your mobile device, or you can call 911 and assistance will be directed and routed to you. But thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Lieutenant Martin. We'd like to transition to another popular recreation, whether it is out on the lake or along our shorelines, and that's going to be fishing. For that, we have our fisheries biologist, Justin Walters.
Hello, everyone. I'm one of a few fish biologists here in Southwest Ohio. The Ohio Division of Wildlife samples game fish on public waters across the state. We use this data to inform stocking decisions and fishing regulations. We start off in the spring. We sample black bass using an electrofishing boat when the fish are near the shore preparing to spawn. Surveys at Grand Lake show a good population of largemouth bass that are about average for the district. Grand Lake is managed under a 12-inch 5-fish bag limit. Crappie and bluegill are sampled in the fall with trap nets while they gather close to the bank. This type of net is basically a giant minnow trap with a lead attached to the bank. Some people that live around the lake may have seen us run these nets in the fall. The crappie population of Grand Lake is made up of mostly black crappie. The catch rates from our surveys are near the state average. However, something that is not average is the growth rates of crappie at Grand Lake. Grand Lake has some of the fastest growth rates in the entire state. Black crappie reached 10 inches in 2 years. We manage the crappie population with a 9-inch length limit and a 30-fish bag. The bluegill size and numbers are great at Grand Lake as well, and they are well above the district average. Channel cat populations are sampled using baited hoop nets in the summer. The catfish population of Grand Lake is dominated with channel catfish along with some bullhead. The fishery has a great population. The catch rates are well above the average for the district as well. Our reservoirs in Ohio are aging and the quality of fishing habitat is gradually declining. We try to help by making fish attractor reefs in the winter months. We typically use Christmas trees in deeper lakes. However, in canal lakes like Grand Lake, we use stake beds. These reefs and stake beds help to offer a little help to the fish as well as the fishermen. We conduct these projects on most reservoirs in a 3 to 5 year rotation. In the fall of 2019, we partnered with parks and several local and national conservation organizations to develop over 10 stake beds across the entire lake. They are marked and numbered by a white pole and a sign placed in the middle. The fish attractor locations that have already been installed can be found on our Ohio Lake Map resource page. This page also shows the many resources available to users like boat ramps, restrooms, and marina locations across the entire state. Another great resource that was developed during 2020 was our new Hunt Fish OH mobile app. The fishing side of this app allows you to buy a license for you and anyone in your fishing group. The map feature will also help you find the fish attractors while you're out on the lake, like we talked about earlier. The app also has many other features like the current fishing regulations built right in. A lot of the information that I presented today can be found on our new website. By going to the new fishing reports and forecast page, anglers can now see our stocking numbers for each lake and some of our species-specific sampling results from our surveys. We are currently expanding this website for other lakes in the near future. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Justin, for that look at what's going on below the water. To have such a grand lake, we do have to do a lot to help that lake. And to start out with, we'd like to introduce our Agriculture and Natural Resources Director for Mercer County, Teresa.
Well, good morning, everybody. And as Catherine stated, my name is Teresa Dirksen, and I am the Agriculture and Natural Resources Director for Mercer County. I act as a liaison between Mercer County and the Grand Lake St. Mary's Lake Facilities Authority, and I administer grant funds and manage projects for the LFA. I also facilitate the Grand Lake St. Mary's Lake Restoration Commission, which is a group of local and state people interested in improving the water quality in Grand Lake St. Mary's. In 2012, we began our efforts to build wetlands along the shore of Grand Lake St. Mary's. The first system was installed on Prairie Creek, which drains approximately 5,000 to 6,000 acres of the watershed. Phase 1 was constructed in 2012 and Phase 2 was constructed in 2014. There is a total of 30 acres of on-land wetlands and about 100 acres of in-lake littoral wetlands. Water is pumped from Prairie Creek to the tune of about 1.5 million gallons per day during the growing season, which is typically April through October of each year. Monitoring of the wetlands effectiveness has been ongoing since June of 2017 in cooperation with Wright State University Lake Campus. We continue to learn how these systems best operate and make improvements accordingly. The Coldwater Creek wetlands were constructed in 2015. There are 32 acres of on-land wetlands and about 250 acres of in-lake littoral wetlands. The upstream watershed of Coldwater Creek is approximately 12,000 acres. We can pump up to 4 million gallons per day into this system during the growing season. Monitoring of this system is ongoing as well. Maintenance of these systems are very important in keeping the wetlands functional. Our local partnership with OhioDNR is instrumental in keeping these systems functional. Some of these maintenance activities include checking vegetation, pump maintenance, removing rough fish, removing sediment, and much more. I will also mention that there are walking trails on each of these wetland systems. The Beaver Creek Vegetated Biofilter was constructed in 2018. This site is a little bit different than the first two wetland systems because of its proximity to the airport. There cannot be open water on the land so as not to attract birds to the site, which are harmful for aircraft. The upstream watershed of Beaver Creek is approximately 13,000 acres, and we can pump up to 500,000 gallons per day into this system, and monitoring is ongoing here as well. There are 2 other wetland systems planned for the Grand Lake St. Mary's in the upcoming years. This summer, we intend to construct the Burntwood Creek Langenkamp Wetland Conservation Area, which you can see on the left side of the screen. It will be about 90 acres of wetlands, trees, a walking path, native grasses, and more. The conceptual image is there, like I said, on the left of the screen, and will include at least a 1-mile walking path. The image on the right of the screen is a conceptual image for the Chickasaw Creek treatment train, which will treat water from both the Big Chick and the Little Chick that drain to Grand Lake St. Mary's. A lot of conservation work has also been completed further upstream in the watershed. In 2019, we constructed a 2,000-foot section of natural channel on Beaver Creek through the Mercer County Elks Golf Course. An Ohio EPA 319 grant and an Electric Power Research Institute grant funded this project with a lot of local cooperation, including the Lake Improvement Association, the Lake Restoration Commission, the Mercer Soil and Water Conservation District, and Republic Waste Services. A habitat assessment will be completed in a few years to gauge the effectiveness of this particular project. Farmers in the Grand Lake St. Mary's watershed have been instrumental in helping to improve the lake's water quality, in particular over the last decade. Nutrient management plans are implemented on each individual livestock farm. Manure storage has been added to allow more timely land application of manure, and open concrete feedlots have been covered to minimize the amount of manure and wastewater being generated on the farms. Cover crops are being used widely to control erosion and uptake nutrients. And a saturated buffer was installed in 2020 to address edge of field runoff. There's much more happening, and we continue to look at innovative best management practices in agriculture. Mercer County has allowed me, as the Ag and Natural Resources Director, to also focus on research around manure management. This includes technology and equipment that can separate nutrients from liquid manure, allowing those nutrients to be moved out of the area to where they are better needed and can be better utilized. A critical piece of this effort is to ensure the economic feasibility and ease of operation of this equipment for the farms. All watershed efforts are having and will continue to have an impact on Grand Lake St. Mary's and moving the water quality in Grand Lake St. Mary's in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you for all the hard work that your crew does. We also have another way that we're helping Grand Lake St. Mary's, and that is by using the dredge. To explain this further, we have our dredge program administrator, Tom.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Very good. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Catherine. We're going to talk a little bit today about our dredge program, where we're going, where we've been. So again, my name's Tom Graybaugh. I'm Dredge Program Administrator for the state of Ohio. A few things to keep in mind. OhioDNR's dredge program is funded by the Waterway Safety Fund to provide safe and navigable water. In addition, there's a secondary benefit, and that's removing rich sediment from the bottom that promotes a healthier lake. So little bit on history. Back in 2011, we started a very aggressive dredge program. So since then, up until 2020, we have removed 3,335,594 cubic yards. So very good. To kind of put that in layman's terms where everybody understands that, if you would take the tandem dump trucks that we utilize at Grand Lake St. Mary's and fill them up with the dredge sediment that we have pumped, you come up with 256,584 tandem dump trucks full. Okay, so if you took those, line them up bumper to bumper down Route 33, down 75, bumper to bumper, a heck of a traffic jam, lined them up, it would stretch 1,166 miles. So to put that in perspective, it would stretch from Salina down to Fort Lauderdale. So that's a lot, that's a heck of a traffic jam. So we've done very well. Our key goal was to try to strive for 100,000 cubic yards per dredge each year, and every year we pretty much exceeded that. So our dredges are ready to go. So we'll start deploying those next week. In this screen, you'll see where we will be dredging this year. You got 3 circles. We'll be dredging. We missed out on one, which would be up on the northeast corner, where we'll be starting off a dredge at the West Beach project. That'll only take a couple weeks. And then the circles on the south side of the lake, the jobs that we'll be doing is Harmons, Tebow East, West, and the mouth of Tebow, Breezewood mouth, South Shore Acres, the mouth of Little Chick, Hart Grand East, Windy Point Marina, and the mouth of Windy Point Marina, and Montezuma Creek. So we're just not limited to that. We want to kind of see where we're at, you know, midway through the year, whether we add some more projects. But the dredges run, you know, tentatively from April 1st through the week before Thanksgiving, excuse me. So we're right on schedule, getting these projects moving. So you'll start seeing some dredging action here next week. During this summer, we'll also be doing an extensive survey on our lake to kind of find out the hot spots and the areas that need some attention. You know, this also assists us in locating other areas to construct DMRAs, which we'll talk about next, construct DMRAs to place this material. Okay. So moving on to that with the DMRAs, this DMRAs, dredge material relocation areas, are probably one of our largest challenges. Okay. Finding the property, we look for properties 5 acres and larger, so I reach out to the community. I reach out to our friends groups. We've been very successful that way. So if any of you watching this presentation today would know of an area 5 acres and larger that we can construct a site that we actually lease and we pay money for that, we set up terms of 5-year contract with them with sometimes an additional 1-year extension on that, just to make sure that material is dry enough to either reclimate or give that material away. Okay. We got a pretty extensive dredge material giveaway program here at Grand Lake St. Mary's, where we've been very fortunate to be able to provide people with dredge sediment, dry dredge sediment, which is topsoil. So I know this last year we removed probably 300,000 cubic yards from our state-owned DMRAs, state-owned properties, and gave that material away. We give it away by 5-gallon buckets, give it away by dump trucks full. So any means that people want that, they can have that material for their gardens, for their flower beds, whatever they want to do with it. All we ask them to do is come into the state parks and fill out a very simple permit. We just want to know who's on state property, taking the material. You are required to load the material and haul the material away. The state of Ohio, we're not into the trucking business, but we're willing to give you whatever material you want. All you got to do is show up, let us know your name, fill out a simple permit, how much material you're looking at taking, and we'll get you set up. Myself or Dan Gillis, which is the West Central Dredge Supervisor, will get you going in the right direction. The last thing I'd like to discuss is dredge pipe safety. This is a key component to our dredge operation, and I commend the people around Grand Lake St. Mary's. They're doing a tremendous job. The first screen there where it says danger, we post these at all of our state-owned boat ramps. Okay, everybody can look at those. They know if they see these signs with the yellow bar that there is dredging operations going on in that area. Okay, a lot of this stuff is relayed through the chain of mouth, through verbally, which I very, very much appreciate. So if you know these, or new visitors are coming to the lake, please make them aware of this sign and make them aware of the 14-inch round balls that there's a picture of it right there in the middle. What these balls state is danger. Where you see these 14-inch round balls, there's a dredge pipe, 12-inch dredge pipe submersed underneath that. Okay. So if that pipe is in 3 foot of water, you got 2 foot of water on top of it. We try to place the dredge pipe all within 300 yards of, or 300 feet, 300 feet of the shoreline to keep it in a no wake zone. Okay. So be cognizant of your surroundings when you're going around that pipe. It does surface every now and then. With the material that we pump is very highly organic. That creates gases that every now and then this pipe will come up. So it's our responsibility on weekends and at nights to keep that pipe on the bottom. So 99.9% of the time that dredge is loaded up and it's sitting on the bottom. Final picture I'd like to show is a piece of dredge pipe that was hit by a boat or with a scag. So you can see the damage. That is 1/2-inch wall pipe. You can see the damage that a boat can create if you are speeding across this pipe. Like I said, within 100 yards from the shoreline, that's all no wake. So if you're not putting out a wake and you're puddling along, you will not do damage to your boat. Okay, very important. So again, thank you for the time. It's been a good presentation. I hope everybody a very happy Easter. You can see on this final page my email address and also Dan Gillis's email address. Feel free to contact us, either call the park office, get a hold of us on an email. Let us know your concerns, questions, comments, and we'll be more than willing to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you to the crews out there who are helping keep Grand Lake St. Mary's such a grand destination for our visitors. We'd like to bring Donna from the Greater Grand Lake Visitors Region to talk to us a little bit more about kind of concluding us on what all there is to do here on your visit.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine. I do appreciate being here. My name is Donna Gruby, and I'm the director of the Greater Grand Lake Region Visitors Center, and I've been there for 18 years. And I can truly say that there's nothing I like more than talking about Grand Lake and the surrounding communities with visitors and enticing you perhaps to come and see for yourself. Okay, maybe I like chocolate a little more, but other than that, talking Grand Lake is my favorite thing to do. For all the, we have a lot of attractions in our area, but the top draw is actually Grand Lake St. Mary's. As Ohio's largest inland lake, there's so much to see and do here. As we heard about the boating opportunities with the unlimited horsepower and the wide open waters, this is a great lake for boating, tubing, wakeboarding, skiing. We also have a lot of sailing going on, fishing, paddleboarding, canoeing, and kayaking. Now, we've seen a big increase in kayakers over the past couple of years. And if you're coming to our lake to kayak, I would definitely suggest the south side. There's a lot less wind and wave action. And with the many wetlands and the tributaries coming to the lake, you'll see a lot more wildlife and waterfowl. Speaking of bird watching, our large lake in the wetlands has been a great draw for migratory birds. You can see kingfishers, sandhill cranes. We've got a number of eagles that nest here, as well as blue herons, egrets, osprey, hawk, and the big hit the past couple of years has been the white pelicans. They have been coming to our lake in bigger and bigger numbers each year over the past several years, and folks are really enjoying seeing those out on the lake, something a bit unusual. Something also unusual that has been a kind of almost a celebrity bird is piebald Pete. He is a black and white robin, and he happens to reside near the State Park office and our visitor center office. So whenever we put old Piebald Pete on social media, we get a lot of folks who come out and want to find him and photograph him. So if you're looking for an unusual bird, as most bird watchers do enjoy that, Piebald Pete right here at Grand Lake St. Mary's. Now, I mentioned the fishing, and so did Justin. But I want to let you know that it is definitely the premier crappie lake, and we have a lot of tournaments at this lake. At the end of this month, Crappie USA will be having a super tournament at Grand Lake St. Mary's. But it's not just the crappie. A lot of tournaments also take place, bass, catfish, and we even have a carp derby in June at Grand Lake. Something unusual for an inland lake, we do have lighthouses. We have 3 of those. Northwoods is located on the north side of the lake. It is on the National Registry of Historic Places. It is a copy of the Eddystone Lighthouse on the English Channel. That lighthouse, Northwoods, will be celebrating its 100th birthday this year. Lake Improvement Association is doing a rehab project, putting new wiring and I think actual LED beacons in there, make it a little brighter, and that happens to be on the left side of your screen. It's a beautiful little lighthouse. The Salina Rotary Lighthouse is in the center of your screen, and that is on US 127. You can see the observation deck and the stairs, and folks like to go up there and get a nice view of the lake. And finally, our 3rd lighthouse on the right side of your screen is Bem's Lighthouse. That's on a little island. It's just offshore and on the south side of the lake. Well, if you're looking for some socializing fun, there's nothing more fun than good food with a view. We have more than a dozen restaurants, clubs, bars, maybe a few dives that are on the lake. Most have docks or boater access, and many have constructed some wonderful patios and decks to take advantage of the view. Coming this summer, you'll want to check out the Tugboat Bar and Pizza Oven. That's on the patio of the Boardwalk Grill. It's located near the lighthouse on the West Bank. Yes, they imported a tugboat, brought it in on some cranes, and they're making a bar out of it on their patio. So that'll definitely be something to come and check out this summer. All summer long, you will find music and entertainment at many of these places along the lake. You can go to our website, which is seemore.org, SEEMORE.org. And we have a special section that we have on there from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and it's called Summer Spotlight. That's just there to highlight all the entertainment and special events at Grand Lake. So you'll want to check that out if you're coming our way. Some fun events on the lake. Salina Lake Festival, probably the premier festival on Grand Lake St. Mary's. It's the last weekend in July. The special guest there on the left side of your screen, it's the Amphicars. From 30 to 80 will be coming to town for the Lake Festival. They do a splash in on Friday night. That's very popular. I think they have a contest to see who can splash the most water as those little cars hit the lake. Also on Friday night of that Lake Festival are some incredible fireworks over the lake. They have a parade on Saturday. The whole weekend is just full of events and fun, but definitely something to put on your calendar. In August, the Lake Improvement Association has the Barstool Open. That's a putt-putt golfing competition, fun around the lake. Most folks boat in that, and they'll have upwards of 50 to 60 teams in that competition. You can drive your car as well. Lakeshore Park, they built a new amphitheater last year, and they do have Sunday evening concerts throughout the summer at Lakeshore Park. By the way, that park is right on the water, on the edge of Salina. It also has some wonderful playground equipment. There's a splash pad. It's a great little destination for some family fun if you come to our area. Well, as far as local tourism is concerned, there's a lot of things to see and do when in the area when you come to Grand Lake St. Mary's. Neil Armstrong was born and raised in Auglaize County, and his hometown was Wapakoneta. He was the first man on the moon. There's a really great museum there. If you haven't heard, he was passionate about his flying. In fact, he was so passionate, he got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. So there's a lot of things in Wapakoneta dedicated to him. They do have a really lovely historic downtown for dining and shopping. And if retail therapy is your favorite thing to do on vacation, Wapakoneta with its boutiques and antique shops and specialty stores is a fun place to go. New Bremen, Ohio, about 15 minutes away from the lake. The Bicycle Museum of America is there, and it is a real gem of a museum. I don't know if you realize it, but the first bicycles, as in this picture, didn't have pedals. You used your feet to go along the way, and they have a whole history from big wheel bikes to racing bikes, and it's a very, very fun stop in New Bremen. That is located right next to the Miami Canal, Lock 1. And the lock keeper's house. There's also a really cute art park there with a splash pad and some like outdoor musical instruments for the kids to play. Again, a nice family location to go stop. And finally, there's more history in our area, and that is at Fort Recovery. Two very important battles with the Indians there in the early 1790s opened up our country for westward expansion. The town has some really fabulous murals and a wonderful museum with stockade. A large monument for the American soldiers who died in those battles is there. There is also a live white oak tree that was planted to honor the Native Americans who lost their lives at Fort Recovery. It's a very historic place and a fun place to visit. More to see and do. We do have 3 state scenic byways. Land of the Cross Chip Churches features numerous old German Catholic churches along a route, very beautiful. Miami Canal Scenic Byway, well, it follows the Miami Canal. And then we also have a Neil Armstrong Scenic Byway that was just designated last year. So if you like taking a drive along some scenery, those are 3 to check out. If you like home crafted or low, small business crafted beverages, we do have 5 breweries and 3 wineries in our area. But one of the favorite things we have on the State Ice Cream Trail, Lake City Creamery. So that's a great place to visit. It's about 5 minutes from the lake, and they make their ice cream right there, and they have some of the coolest and strangest flavors. It's a really nice place to visit. For incredible sunrises and sunsets, and a lot of fun in between, we do invite you to come to Grand Lake St. Mary's. For more information, you can go to our website, seymour.org. And when you visit, please do stop by our visitor center for maps, brochures, information. We can answer your questions. We're open 7 days a week from May to Labor Day, 5 days a week the rest of the year. We're located very near the park office and the campgrounds. And as we like to say, when you need a break, come to the lake. And we hope to see you this year at Grand Lake St. Mary's. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Donna. I would like to take these last few minutes to address some of the great questions that came into our Q&A box here. The very first one I think is perfect for our fisheries biologist, and it simply is, and it sounds like maybe some new visitors coming to the park. If I am bringing some young kids who it might be their first time fishing, where might be some good locations to take them?
Hello, great question. I'll give you some easy answers for that. The number one place I would probably pick for, I assume, bank fishing from the get-go is the Windy Point access area. So you have the ability to fish the main lake there as well as some of the canals. So if you're not familiar with the area, the fishing can be vastly different from a canal to the main lake. And then being there with the long break wall, you can fish either the east or west side to get out of the wind, and then try the canals as well. One of there's two stake bed locations right there that can be fished from the bank. So that'd be another place to try for crappie with minnows. A couple other places I'll just say in general is the east bank or the west bank. So the way Grand Lake St. Mary's lays out, if you're not familiar, the wind typically comes from the west and it's kind of rough on the east. But if it's the opposite, you could fish then on the west bank and then get out of the wind. And then a fourth option would be below the spillway if there's some water in it. There's always something interesting down below the spillway. Thanks.
Thank you for help answering that, Justin. We have a couple more questions that I think would be perfect for our park manager, Dave. So first question, Dave, is Donna showed us this really beautiful pictures of a pair of eagles. Are there eagles that nest on or around the lake, and is it something visitors usually see?
There are eagles that nest on and around the lake. Two sites that I can think of off the top of my head are the north or the southeast corner, and the other is the Prairie Creek treatment train, where we have nests, and it's very, very typical to see eagles anytime you're around the lake daily.
And our second question is also bird related. It has to do with those white pelicans. Someone asked, are they being seen right now, and when is a typical time to view these birds? Do they stay all year round? Do they leave?
Yes, they are being seen right now. I'm guessing we have somewhere between 300 and 500 of them. They do nest here in the summer, and it's actually kind of different this year. Typically they seem to flock together, but this year they're kind of spread out all over the lake.
And I think our final question here would be a great way to see these birds. It is a question about boating on the lake. Are there any boats available for rent at the lake there?
Yes, so Spend a Day Marina has boat rentals. I'm sorry. Freedom Outdoors has boat rental, as well as Bayview Marina and Cozy Marina.
Thank you, Dave. And I would also lose track of as many marinas as you guys have up there. I think that concludes our Q&As. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for being a part of our presentation here today. And I'd like to bring back our Southwest District Manager to close us.
What a lot of great information in such a short time. I'd like to thank our great presenters and partners today, Teresa, Donna, and Justin, for joining us to put on a great presentation today, as well as thanking our staff, Tom and Travis and Kara and everyone for being a part of this great presentation today. I might be a little biased as I grew up and still live here at Grand Lake St. Mary's, and it is a great resource. I would welcome all of you to come out and take part in it, whether it's fishing, hiking, or just coming out to see the great pelicans or many of the great day trips that Donna talked about in the community. So with that, remember, you can make a camping reservation 6 months in advance by going to reserveohio.com or by calling 866 Ohio Parks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today for Grand Lake St. Mary's, but feel free to join us next Friday as we will be going to visit Rocky Fork, Paint Creek, and Adams Lake in the Southwest. I'd like to wish all of you and your families a happy Easter, and please, I hope you make some time to go out and enjoy one of Ohio's great state parks this summer. Thank you.